it foggy outside. All the planes have been grounded. Ain't the fire inside? Let's all go stand around it. Funny, I've been there, and you've been here. We ain't had no time to drink that beer.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Sandman podcast. I am your host, Brian W. Tosh, joined, as always, by our resident hack checker, Oliver Fullington.
You.
Our producer and co-host, El Hilo del Hack, Tyler Fullington. And the man whose stories got stories, the hardcore icon, the Sandman. Hack, how the hell is it going today?
What up, Sand fans? That's what I'm going to call you from now on. I just decided it came into my head.
Oh, Sand fans.
Obviously, I ain't never had a bad day.
Never had a bad day in your life, just like the king.
Me or Howard Eskin.
I was going to say, what are you asking?
I knew one of those would get it.
Did you ever run into Howard Eskin at any points in time?
I'm sure on the sidelines, like back in the day with the Eagles when he used to wear... One of the smartest things he ever did was wear those fur coats.
Yeah.
Because you could pick him out. Any person in the stadium could find him on the sidelines. Just like that Craig Sager guy, remember,
Yes.
with his outfits? You could see him anywhere in the building. Smart stuff.
Yeah, smart branding there by the king, Howard Eskin, local sports talk radio legend in
dude.
Philadelphia.
Straight legend, that guy.
Yeah, absolute straight legend, and his son's obviously following in his footsteps. Spike Eskin as well. Guys, we got a lot of interesting contract lapses in wrestling going on right now. AEW has let go of a number of people that were under original 5-year contracts. Jake Hager, Mark Henry, Arn Anderson, Ethan Page. A number of these guys have been let go, and I don't know if they're going to go to WWE or not. Or
Wait,
what.
Mark Henry's been getting paid there all this time? I don't remember.
Not as a worker. He was...
Backstage.
Yeah, he was working backstage. He's not there anymore, though.
And like doing a little commentary here and there, like stuff like that.
Yeah, and he was instrumental in like scouting a couple of talents over to them. So I would assume, I know he's been doing a lot of stuff with Busted Open, and I don't know what his plans are, but WWE obviously would definitely be a great landing spot for him in the
He
future.
couldn't want to be around for his son. His son's about to go wrestle for Oklahoma, so he might just want to be around to be able to go and watch that.
Is Oklahoma still great like they were back in the day of wrestlers? Like Gable. Didn't Gable go to Oklahoma?
Yeah, there's a lot of people, and I'm sure he's probably a great wrestler. I don't know if they're as good as like some of the Big Ten schools. I know Big Ten dominates college wrestling.
Yeah,
typically.
Back in the day, Oklahoma, Nebraska, Arkansas, those are the ones that were dominating it.
Yeah, and coming up in WWE, I know we talked about the booking decision with Becky dropping the belt, and Becky's contract is also over with WWE, so I know she's taking a little bit of a sabbatical. I don't know if there's any rumors of her.
So they put the belt on her to take it off of her to give her a sabbatical.
Well, I don't know.
Did they put the belt on her to sign her to make sure that, like, hey, girl, we know, we like you, you're here?
I think you're onto something there. They might have given her the belt and trying to hope that like that's enough of a carrot to take that, and then she was like,
"We don't need you time off, the man. We need you on the show."
She was probably like, "No, give me the money instead." And I know they have a young kid at home, and Seth's taking some time off right now to deal with the injuries and the surgeries that he's had. So I haven't seen anything regarding her jumping ship to AEW or anything like that. But
I don't think she would do that. I think she's a WWE gal.
I think she is too, but you never know. She's not currently under contract with anyone, and it's her decision. And yeah,
Well, follow the money.
Follow the money. That's some great advice there. Yeah,
if they offer something unbelievable,
take it.
She is better in WWE than she is. She's in a better situation to me because they know how to handle characters better. And she's a character.
Yeah.
She's a tiny, you know what I mean? But she's the man.
Yeah.
So I don't think AEW would do her justice booking-wise, but they might do her justice money-wise.
Yeah. No, that's definitely
And a lot less work.
Yeah. The other one that was interesting to me was Chad Gable. His deal is apparently up as well. That's kind of interesting because they've been utilizing him a lot in the booking recently with the whole storyline with him and Sami Zayn.
And they just and it's progressed more after the last things that we saw with them. You know what I mean? That's not done, so I would assume that he's back too. But why was he nowhere to be found? Remember they had him with with the short fat guy who does the worm. What's his name?
Otis.
And the other people, you know, with the Japanese guy.
Tozawa. Yeah.
You know, but it seemed like they broke him away from that. I mean, they got the worm dude, you know, at ringside and helping him in a finish and stuff like that. But maybe they pushed him to say, "Hey, kid, all right, we know you're here. We got something for you. Sign your contract, and then we'll bury you after that."
Yeah, I don't. It's interesting to me because I can't imagine.
Seriously.
I can't imagine like the Vince mindset of if you're utilizing somebody and you're heavily focusing on them on the show, and then for their contract just to come up. Do you think that's a change in the company?
There's no way that Vince McMahon, I feel, would be letting that happen. Saying, "Yo, your contract's up, so I'm going to push you right now, and I'm going to send you over to Saudi Arabia when I'm only sending 20 people in the company." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I don't think that's not a Vince footprint to me.
Yeah. No, it's just kind of interesting because
What's he going to push you to the moon, and then you're going to sign a contract with AEW?
Right. I mean, he's a free agent. He can do what he wants now.
Yeah.
Look, the fact that there's two companies out there that are offering some big time dollars in the wrestling business is just great for the boys and girls out there. They can leverage.
Yeah, it is. Go get the money, people.
I mean, I don't know how much money Impact's offering, but I would say 3 companies out there that are really viable,
but not for
taking talent from.
Not for the talent that we're talking about.
Yeah,
we're talking about.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, as far as like only being 2 companies,
Impact.
I would say more 3 than 2, probably.
Definitely, Impact has been in the market for a couple guys, but I think their situation is a little bit worse off than it was 6 months to a year ago. I know that they haven't been drawing very well, and they've been struggling on some of their pay-per-views and stuff.
Apparently, they're going to do some stuff with
Yeah.
WWE in the near future.
They're getting involved with WWE and NXT, it seems like. I know
Jordan Grace already showed up.
Yep.
So. You think she's going to win the title?
I don't know, actually.
She's got her own title, so I mean, I don't.
She does, but I mean, if you want to look, WWE has.
That's a strong NXT champion, though, for the women's division.
Oh yeah, I mean, traditionally WWE has not played well with others when they're working with other companies. You know, they do what they do.
You get bullied.
Yeah,
He makes it sound all great, then you get bullied.
Right. Like they have ulterior motives usually with their business practices with other wrestling companies, but. You know, maybe it's a new day in the company, and maybe they want to work.
It's a new day.
Yeah, maybe it's a different change in. You know, the organization obviously is a little bit different. It's Nick Khan's WWE. It's Triple H's WWE. It's not the old Vince McMahon way of business. But I don't know. Maybe there is something to the TNA and WWE NXT relationship that's further. But we'll see. I guess the future will play out. Our topic for this week, we are reviewing Hardcore Heaven 2000.
What a beast I was.
You certainly were.
Yeah, for a 6-minute match, loser.
Yo, you know what? We'll get to your match in a minute, Hack, but this was certainly a really interesting time in the company. Hack,
yeah, it was.
I got to ask you, so there's a number of things going on here. There's the TNN stuff where the company got the television contract to go on TNN, which was a big thing for ECW. And then immediately after the TV deal, WWE signed a contract for Raw to go to TNN. And suddenly ECW on TNN was not going to be a big thing because their focus was going to be on that WWE Raw contract. And then also, this was right around the time when Mike Awesome jumped ship to WCW. Can you walk me through, Hack, the thought in the locker room about Mike Awesome jumping ship to WCW?
I'm sure people cared, but it wasn't like there was like he had obviously heat with the boys. You know what I'm saying? The boys are like, God, they must have paid him a shitload of money, whatever. A number came out. I don't remember what it was, but there was a number out, and I think half the dudes are like, well, we don't, because there's rumors of us going down at this point,
yes.
You know what I'm saying? So why would anybody have heat with Mike Awesome if he's jumping ship at the best opportunical time that he could for his career?
Yeah, he made his debut in WCW. It was the very first Nitro where Vince Russo and Eric Bischoff were together. He debuted and he laid out Kevin Nash. It was a big spot for him, and he was the ECW champion at the time. Things got litigated between Eric Bischoff and Heyman. There was a lot of lawyers and stuff involved. So then Mike Awesome, they arranged, do you remember this? Were you happen to be on the show?
I was in the building.
So Mike Awesome, they have him come in. It's in, I believe, Ohio, Dayton. We'll have to ask Kevin, but I'm pretty sure that's where it was.
If it was Dayton, I was flying.
So, but they have Mike Awesome come in, and he drops the belt to Taz, who was in WWF at the time. And so they had a WWF contracted performer beating a WCW contracted performer for the ECW heavyweight title. What was going on in the locker room at this point in time when Mike Awesome returned to drop the belt and do the honors?
I just thought it was a lot of us just thought it was funny that he came with the security team. The guy, I said his name a couple weeks ago, Jay or something like that. The one security guard. He came with like 5 security guards. Had his own locker room. Nobody saw him. Nobody interacted with him. Nothing. He came, did the match, went to the building, and left. Left.
I guess he thought he had heat with the boys. So.
Yeah.
Well, no, that's
Indiana,
WCW.
Tosh. Indiana.
Okay.
Indiana's where it happened.
Yeah, he dropped the belt to Taz really quick, and it was, the fact that they put the belt on Taz, who was a WWF performer. I know you guys had that working relationship with WWF at the time, where Paulie was getting paid from Vince and stuff like that. So they were obviously still cool enough to have Taz come in, and I think Vince probably wanted to put the screws to WCW a little bit and have one of his guys go over
that's
WCW.
exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Why was it an RVD?
Right? Why wasn't it RVD? We'll get to that in a little bit because I do want to talk about some of the booking at
Masato
this
Tanaka.
point. Somebody who was one of your guys.
I mean,
who was
Masato
credible.
makes perfect sense. Even if he's a transition, just to get it off him for the night. And Mike wouldn't have a problem with that, even though Mike probably wasn't calling the shot and he was doing whatever the hell he was told to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But to me, it would have been more sense on Masato Tanaka than Taz.
Yeah, I know. I guess Paulie's worry originally when Mike was jumping ship is that he would have pulled what Medusa did when she had the WWF women's belt and threw it in the trash.
Threw it in the trash.
I'm sure Bischoff was probably trying to get Mike Awesome to do something like that at the time, but that never happened. And he did the honors to Taz. The interesting thing here is Taz at this point, works at SmackDown. Where he faces off against Triple H, and Triple H went over Taz in a match where Tommy Dreamer did a run-in. Do you remember this?
No.
It was on a SmackDown in the year 2000. This is all the same time period. Do you think Triple H wanted to make sure to squash the ECW champion at that point in time?
Obviously. I mean, that's so blatantly obvious.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like these little wrestling
What better
things.
way than to kiss up to your father-in-law?
Yeah, like these little wrestling things where I'm like, man, it's funny how petty some of these people are sometimes about some of this stuff. It's like,
I know, but there's no reason for the pettiness.
right? Why
There
would
just
you?
really is no reason
It's not
for
going to
that.
elevate you by beating Taz at that point. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing to that. You know?
Yeah, there's pro wrestling, dude. It's like crazy. And I didn't do any pettiness whatsoever. I'm like, done, don't care, get away from me.
Yeah. Now you have the right mentality, man. But so what they do is they have a match between Taz and Tommy Dreamer, and Taz drops the belt to Dreamer.
Is this on SmackDown?
No. This is at an ECW show a couple weeks later. So Taz drops the belt to Dreamer, and Dreamer then immediately Just Incredible comes out and immediately beats Dreamer for the belt. Do you remember all this stuff at all? None of this?
No, that doesn't. No.
No, but that was Dreamer's one ECW Heavyweight Championship reign
He had it
that
for
we
a
were
couple
talking
minutes.
about. Lost,
Yeah.
got it that night, lost it that
Got
night.
it that night, lost it that night. And Hack, correct me if I'm wrong. You know Dreamer pretty well. Do you think that he had to be like convinced into even taking the belt at that point for like even just a couple minutes?
He didn't want it.
He didn't want it.
No, he was like me. He wanted to lose. He
Right.
didn't want to win. Me and him would wrestle. We would argue who's going to take the pin, whether I was wrestling against him or me and him were in a tag. I'm like, no, Tommy, I'm taking the pin. No, Tommy, I'm taking the pin. I would just fight him for it, and then he would just give up.
It's the anti-Triple H.
Because
over
I was utterly and thoroughly convinced at that point in my career, I can lose every single solitary night of the week and still be the most over guy in the company. That was where my mentality was. I know you got your RVDs, you got your Jerry Lynn's, you got your Rhinos and stuff like that. But in my head, I don't care, dude. I'll lose and get over more than you, and you just beat me.
Yeah, no,
That's like shoving it. That's like me, like shoving it in like the professional wrestling's face. You know, like, oh, your champion has to be this or has to be that. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's just, and this guy had to win all the time. Sabu always had to win. Shane always had to win. I'm like, are you serious, dude?
Taz always had to win.
Yeah, well, I'm done talking about him.
So that's what leads us up to this show, where you have Just Incredible as the ECW World Heavyweight Champion. I know we kind of touched on this a couple weeks ago. Where do you guys feel, Ty? Where do you feel about Just Incredible as a world champion? And that name, was he credible enough to you to hold the ECW World Heavyweight title?
At At that time in the company, I think he was. I mean, there was a lot of different people in ECW that could be world heavyweight champion. It was different. It's not like your WWEs and your WCWs where you had to, like, I'm not saying you have to have like a long reign, like I can't see Justin Credible having it for like 2 years or something like that. But
Right.
at a certain time period in certain circumstances, I could see him being, no pun intended, credible champion.
Yeah. No, I mean, like, the pickings there were kind of slim for who they were going to elevate up to that top of the
Right.
card status at that point.
Well, but only because, I mean, it easily could have been RVD's. But RVD's deal was the TV championship. You know what I mean? That was his deal.
I want to get to that in a bit because this was the return to the ring for RVD after being out with a broken foot for a couple months. So this was his return to action, and he vacated the TV title they held for over 2 years, and then Rhino ends up with the belt, and that's what you have matched with Rhino on the show that we'll get to in a minute. But don't you think ECW should have then put their eggs in the RVD basket and made him the champ at that point? I mean, I think it's what they...
To me, it didn't matter.
It wasn't going to matter anyway.
To me, it didn't matter what belt he had or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, he was your top guy no matter what?
Yeah, and I think because ECW fans are a little bit different than your WW. Back in those days, though, you got to remember the younger crowd and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Our fans know who's good.
Right.
You don't have to have a belt to be over with ECW fans.
Right.
That's why I was saying
you just don't.
That's why I was saying Justin's fine with it,
Right.
because at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter in ECW. It's not
Yeah,
the same.
And he's a perfect chicken shit heel, which is like
Right,
gets
exactly.
heat
He's
for
got the
ECW
good-looking girl
fans no
with him,
matter
too.
what.
Right.
Yeah,
He gets
Frank-
heat. Yeah.
We'll get to his match later on, obviously, but Franny and him were a really good tandem, and so getting into the show proper here. This was live from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. It was a pretty packed crowd, and I really loved the look of that arena. Do you remember working in that building, Hank?
What was it called? The Rave?
The Rave.
Well,
Yeah.
it's on Peacock, it shows up as the Eagle Ballroom, but Styles kept calling it the Rave on
Back in
commentary.
the day, maybe, was it?
Yeah,
So I
maybe
don't-
they changed names. I love
It
the
was
look of
cool looking though.
It
Yeah,
had-
that
it-
place
With
is
all the
sweet.
balconies like all over the place.
It had that
like,
Hammerstein kind of look
Yeah,
to it.
yeah, sure.
It was a cool venue, definitely.
Loud. Real loud. I just remember it being loud.
It was a great, like the crowd.
Yeah,
was
the crowd was
really
great.
awesome.
Nobody was safe from a chant in that crowd. I mean, throughout the whole night, nobody was safe.
And that's
She's a crack whore.
That's the thing with ECW too. It's like, you this is the latter part of the company. The company's kind of going down a little bit, but it's the crowds are still packed and still really
The company's not going. We're on our way down, but the work rate wasn't down. There was nothing
No.
down about the show.
No.
So I just didn't like you saying that. The
No.
company was down a little bit.
I didn't mean the company was down in terms of
Financially.
Financially was what I meant by the company being down. Like the crowd was really still into it. They were into the characters on the show, and
I know the lights go out for a little bit, and they're still in it.
We'll get to that
I
match
love that.
too. Oh, you actually okay?
it was
so
cool stuff. It reminded me of the new Ninja Turtle stuff.
We'll get to the show. The show started off with Joey Styles and Joel Gertner. They were in the ring, and then it was just kind of this.
Well,
Yeah,
I got it.
you
Right
got
here.
it.
Dude, it was so good. And Joel is freaking just so good. And Joey's response, wow, when Joel's saying
Joey
this stuff,
was
it's
trying
like,
not to crack up.
I got it pretty close here. From Milwaukee to Green Bay, ladies say I made their day when I put my nuts in their face and let go of my spray. That's just great stuff.
Gertner. Yeah, Gertner.
And Joey's face, Joey sells it so well.
He does. It's a perfect duo because you have Gertner, who's just like really risque, and Joey's like
He's
this
the perfect
choir boy.
foil to Joe.
Yeah,
Yes.
they are absolutely perfect.
And then he does the arm wag.
Yeah.
And fucking,
The arm wag at the end is when he acts like a big baby like that. That is so funny. That is great.
I think that's what finally cracked Joey. He was just like, Jesus. Like-
amazing. So,
And then like a weird, awkward moment happens where they like look at each other and they're like, "Should we leave?" And then like they leave.
Oh yeah,
And
I was
then
wondering
there's, like,
that
5
too.
minutes
What's going
until
on here?
No idea. I think there was a production snafu
A
or
glitch or
something.
something.
I was waiting for somebody to come out or somebody's music to hit or something like when they're walking out.
Then they go up and he gets choked out by Wing Camera and Cyrus, and it was just like a weird start to the show.
Yeah,
it was just a weird.
something was going on.
It was a weird start to the pay per view, man. Not really.
I
I
don't
know,
know
like
if
they could have saved that for like second match in,
Right.
or like something like that, where
Something.
like Cyrus could have came out.
Well,
and did
I don't
that.
know if they thought that. I don't know if Joey and Gertner thought the chokeout was going to happen in the ring. Like maybe Cyrus
There's
was
no way
going.
both of them. How do we know that wasn't a glitch on the replay of it? I don't
No,
know.
because
Dude, stuff
they're
like
showing cameras, like show the crowd, and like they're walking out and like everything. I don't know.
I don't remember watching the show
So
live.
we
but-
could have went to a package right there, but they didn't have the package or
because-
something. You know what I mean? And they
That's what I'm
staged
saying.
right
It
there.
looks like some kind of production. Right?
Yeah.
the only reason I'm thinking that, because Cyrus they used to always hit Cyrus, or he doesn't have music, but he used to always come out. What? Fuck! Excuse me, excuse me. He used to always come out during Joey and Gertner's shit. So that's the only reason why I say maybe they thought he was going to come out with the other dude, the other guy to choke Gertner out during the in the ring.
Yeah,
Excuse me.
it was Wing Kanamura from FMW.
I can never
and,
say his name. Yeah.
it was-
Kanamura.
Do you ever work with him, Mac, or have any memories?
Who?
Kanamura.
Wing Kanamura.
Oh yeah, I like Kanamura.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
nice.
we got along great. Well, he can speak English too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I worked him in Japan.
Okay. Yeah, this so the opener of the show was Balls Mahoney and Masato Tanaka. These are two guys who certainly can swing a chair. This match was, I enjoyed it for an opener. I thought
Great opener.
Great opener.
yeah, I really enjoyed this one. They definitely had some like really nice work before they got to like some of the hardcore stuff. I know you've said this before, Hack, where you think like Balls, if he just went to Japan, he could have been like a strong worker, and I truly believe that because like him and Masato at the beginning of that match, the first couple minutes, you were like,
I know when I first saw it, I was like, I wonder how. Not the first saw it, when I just rewatched it. I'm thinking, how much time? Because when they start out, it's obviously wrestling, you know what I mean? Even though it lasts for about 30 seconds or whatever. I was hoping, I'm like, oh, is Balls really going to show her so I can prove my point to these guys that he can work? But it only lasted for a quick minute.
just
you know
a quick
what I mean?
minute, but you could see it in that quick minute because like
Yeah, that
watching
dude
it, I'm
could
like,
work, man. He really could.
yeah, and Joey made a point on commentary too about him being banned from all wrestling competitions. Or
Oh,
something.
that was hilarious.
Is that actually a shoot?
I don't know. He might have. Ruben was.
Oh, I know that story.
Yeah, I have a
but
friend.
for a
He threw a
chair.
clipboard down. The clipboard hit the mat, flew up, and hit some kid on the other team in the head or something like that. What is because his son was a great wrestler.
Yeah, Spike.
So then he got banned from everything. So I could see that happening easily.
Okay, so you think it might be a shoot? Well,
Yeah.
Didn't they used to say for like punching a referee or
I think they
or
did,
something
yeah,
like
I
that?
think you're right.
That's balls, totally.
Okay, you could see it.
Yeah, even if it's not, it's a great story.
Okay, yeah. Do you got any good Balls Mahoney stories?
Yeah, just I'm hanging out at Chris Candido's funeral. I got to be a little bit friends with him before, but I got to be friends with Johnny Candido. So I stayed in town that night in Jersey, in their town, and I partied with Johnny Candido and his boys and stuff like that. So we got to be better friends, and then the next time I was over at his house, he said, come on, I got to go over to Ball's house, because Balls lived near him. We go into Ball's house. He's in there cooking chicken. He looks me right in the face, puts his hand down his pants, scratches his nuts, and then goes to grab the chicken, and then once it's finished, he's like, here, you want some? I'm like, no. I swear.
That's your Balls Mahoney story, huh?
Yo, he lived the gimmick of Balls.
And then there was another quick one where we were in maybe Cleveland or yeah, I'm pretty sure this one was in Cleveland. He actually gave a dude, because we're in the bad part. We're like in a not a great section. So once the cars are in, the gates got locked. So Balls hands his Mac card, or what are they called now?
Yeah,
Bank card,
Debit
Mac
card.
card. I don't know. I don't hear Mac anymore. Hands it to a dude and says, here's my number. Go get me some money and go get me some coke.
what?
And the guy came back with it.
Wow, he trusted
Couldn't
him.
freaking believe it.
Okay.
Well, I'm like, why would you give a dude your Mac card, your security pin, say, go get some money and buy me coke with her bring it back?
Was it a friend of his?
No.
It was just some guy.
No, yeah.
Wow, he's a trustworthy
Some random
individual.
dude outside.
Well, I don't know.
Making fun of him.
He doesn't look like a guy that you want to take something from.
Yeah, but he's behind a locked fence. You got to shit in your corner in 10 seconds.
Well, I know, but I'm just
They're
saying.
like, this fat fuck can't catch me. It's like a young black guy. He's like, I'm going.
Oh man.
Handing out chicken. Balls.
Yeah.
Balls.
Yeah. Well, rest in peace, Balls Mahoney, man. So they
Great opener.
Great
Yeah,
opener. I really enjoyed this stuff. I thought it was cool when they were like I can't believe Tanaka is still wrestling to this day. He was on
Can
that.
Tanaka speak English? Yeah.
He was on that show we went to WrestleMania weekend, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, this is the same guy from 25 years ago, and he's still working, and he still looked pretty good. Thinner, but he still looked pretty good. And I'm
I thought he looked. He was at WrestleMania.
yes,
weekend, wasn't
yeah,
he?
that's what I just said.
Tasha's
Yeah, like he looked pretty good, and I'm like, wait a minute, how is this possible?
Dude,
With the amount that like
The chair shots that man would take.
Blah, blah. How about when Mike Awesome would stick him over top of his head, throw him over the top rope onto the floor?
Yeah, all the bumps that he would take.
The table means nothing. That helps you a little bit, but you take a fall from 12 feet down to the back of your neck and all your shoulders, not your lower back at all, dude. That's a beast.
Yeah, I just can't believe.
Straight beast, that guy.
I mean, taking all those chair shots and especially from Balls too, because Balls is laying them in. I mean,
Somebody find a match with me and Balls Mahoney. Those chair shots are nothing. I'm telling you, they're nothing.
You have said that before.
I've
but-
never been knocked out by a chair shot. Never.
Didn't you say one night stand Bubba almost knocked you out with the chair shot?
Almost. No, that was a cane. He hit me with the last 6 inches of the cane when I was laying in the corner. I was like, oh shit, that was a little flash of light. You'll see the flash of light, but you're not going to lose like black. It'll be like a flash, and then you'll be able to see right away. But when you get KO'd, it's like fade to black, dude, for a little bit.
So just
and then it's like when you come out, you're coming out of a tunnel. It's weird, like you're coming out of a tunnel, like a lens of a camera. Like it's not in focus at first, but it'll take like 10 seconds to get in focus.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like it's nothing.
No, but chair shots
Anyway,
don't do that.
there you go, audience. If you're ever getting hit over the head with a chair, you understand the tunnel feeling now that Hack
Oh, it
just described.
hurts.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it hurts. It jars your whole body. But this other stuff that he was doing, the move that I told you, Mike, having him over his head out to the floor, is
The awesome
10
bomb.
times harder than a chair shot.
Yeah. So Tanaka, he hit a roaring elbow for 2.
which was
I
great.
love that.
Yeah.
Dude,
Bump.
just connecting with everything.
The
Yeah.
bump that Balls took those great too. With he made it look really
Yeah,
good.
you can bump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he
just
did.
not putting your hands up and just trusting the other dude to
Lay
put it
in.
on you.
Yeah, put it on you. And then he went up top with Ball's own chair. He smashed him on the top of the head, and that got wait, no, he didn't kick out. Then he hit him with the roaring elbow for the finish.
Yep.
And I thought that was a really fun opener. I know last week, Hack, you wanted us to give star ratings for this match. Let's run around circle here. What do you guys give it for star rating? Oliver, star rating for the opener there.
I'll give it a 3.
Yeah, that's where I'm at too. I would give it a 3-star match.
Yeah, I'd say 3.5. Yeah.
Nah, you guys are wrong. For an opening match with the crowd reaction and everything, that's like a 4.5 stars.
4.5 stars.
It is.
All right, here we
It's
go.
an ECW show, gentlemen. You have to understand that. All the other stuff that's going to go on in that show, and those guys being the opener right there, it will be very hard to find. Like, that's a brutal opener.
Yeah, I liked
Like
it a lot.
straight brutal.
Yeah,
I
I
just
was
thought it
going
was a little
3.5. I was going 3.5, 4.
Yeah, but for
With
that-
what I said,
Okay.
because not every match is the same.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like you can give Ospreay Omega a 4.5, and Balls Mahoney and Tanaka. That match could still be 4.5, just in a different way.
Yes.
Yeah, but you have to understand there's a difference in philosophy when wrestlers are knowing they're in this place on the card, or if you're in 6th place on the card. Those guys know exactly what they have to do. Short, sweet, brutal.
Yeah.
That's what
No, but they
makes it
came
nice
out
to
and
me.
they came out and they got the crowd up, like
Right.
just like that, like boom, like hype the crowd up, get
There's
ready
8
for the
spots,
show. Yep.
No hip toss, no arm drag.
Right.
We'll open up with one crab that Balls put on him, and then it was.
Dude, it actually went 9 minutes, which is longer than I actually thought.
Yeah, I
It
thought
went-
about 7.5.
Yeah, it says 9 minutes.
But that's
15
so
seconds.
perfect for that position, and those guys knowing it.
Yeah.
But Paulie didn't get. I know we're on a pay-per-view. But you see how long this. At this point, we're not worried about going too long on a pay-per-view like AEW is now and everything. This thing was long.
2.5.
You know what I mean? But they didn't have a time constriction. But they knew they were the opening match and they knew what they needed to do.
Yeah. Next up on the show was a Lance Storm promo. There was also the interesting thing about this show is that Lance, even though he's in the main event, he's jumping to WCW next month. So it's like, you know, you fill one guy and then you move another guy at the card and then he's out as well. So it's kind of always the story of ECW where guys are, you know, leaving, going to other companies and stuff like that. But it's like, you know, you think maybe Lance is getting moved up the card a little bit, but no.
I know, it's strange that they were the main event now, that like you saying that, because before rewatching it, I always thought that the RVD Jerry Lynn match was the main event.
Yeah.
It was just an end to the story.
It kind of it kind of was for the Impact players on the show.
Yeah, it was just an end to the story.
And going into the show, too, they advertised that this show was going to be a three-way between Dreamer, Justin, and Lance Storm. And then the day of the show, it was changed to just straight up Justin and Lance. Do you remember anything, Hack, about why it was changed?
No, I was wondering what Dreamer's heat was with Paul Lee when he was telling him, screw you.
Well, because he was supposed to be in the main event.
Yeah, I get it,
like,
but I don't remember it.
I don't know if maybe he had an injury at the time when they were covering for or anything. He looked like he was
Paul's
moving
making
fine.
all decisions.
That's
That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you
making
know,
all
if you
decisions.
know at the end of the match, he's just
Nobody in the pay-per-view's telling him what to do.
he's setting up the heat for just for
Had to come out later.
Yeah,
and Francine,
for
have a
Heat
nice
Wave.
happy
Isn't it
ending
Justin
to that
and
match.
Tommy do Heat Wave the next month?
exactly.
Yeah. So maybe that's what it was, I guess. Next up on the show was a three-way dance. This was like,
And maybe Paulie's probably thinking too. It'll look better if he beats him stronger without the three-way there. Like it'll keep Justin stronger by beating him by himself, even no matter what happens in the match.
no, I guess that
I
kind of
can
makes
see
sense.
that them thinking that.
Next up on the show here was a three-way dance between Simon Diamond, Mikey Whipwreck, and Little Guido. This was kind of at the start of Mikey's transition with the Sinister Minister, your boy the Devil.
I was telling those guys that.
Mikey's switching up his gimmick and character, coming back in ECW here. He's dyeing the hair. He's gained a little bit of weight, and he's doing this.
Is this the first time like he's coming out with the red hair?
I don't know if it's the first time, but it's
probably not.
It's in the beginning
I know.
stages.
I love how he's got the pads around his boots too, around his ankles.
Yeah.
Like, just
That he never pulls up to his
Never.
knees.
He's never.
Dude, I think
Yeah.
I might have gave him them.
No.
That's so
They
funny.
are yours. They are yours.
Because I used to have I got them from a Japanese wrestler. Somebody gave them to me.
Yeah,
over
those
there.
the knee pads are yours. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
What? That's awesome.
I was watching. I'm like, I had red
You
knee
used
pads
to
like
you
that.
used to wear them, and then you gave them to Mikey. Yeah, and then he
Nice.
used to just wear them around his boots. He never pulled them up to his knees. He just always used to wear them around his boots.
Okay, all right. So this was like an interesting three-way dance. You have
The opening was great.
Yeah, I did
Yeah.
like the opening
Dude,
and
the
everything.
opening was fantastic.
But
the first minute and a half is really,
Dude,
really
it's all just boom, boom, boom,
a lot of
boom,
smooth
boom,
spots
boom.
together and
Like,
everything, and like we've talked about this a lot on the show. We love Guido. Guido is just such a great worker.
Yeah, he is. Yep.
Mikey is a great worker as well. I don't
You
want to take
forget
anything
about
away.
Simon Diamond, dude.
Simon
I love
Diamond.
Simon Diamond, dude.
Really good promo guy,
Great
strong
promo guy.
worker,
Great promo guy.
and he's somebody when you watch these latter day ECW shows and you're like, who could they have elevated up the roster?
I
up to the
thought
top
he
of the
could have
card?
been a very good champion.
Yes.
Going forward, like
Right there with
Yep.
the tie. Like he's the kind of guy where I would have put the rocket on him a little bit because he's somebody as a heel. He's kind of believable look wise.
Yep.
And
Yeah, he's got the fucking goons with him. He's got the musketeer. He's got the trainee. He's got whatever with him.
I love his whole act, and I love the Simon Says stuff, and it was really good mic play, really good mic work, and the match itself got off to a really good start. And then the power goes out. Hack, when you're working in a building and there's something that goes wrong, whether it's the ring breaking, lighting, walk me through what a wrestler is to do in this
you
situation.
just figure it out.
Dude,
Okay.
they didn't blink.
They didn't blink because they weren't confused at all. They just kept working. And it was,
That's what being a professional is.
yeah, I would give them credit for that because like when something like that happens, you're kind of like, what the fuck?
Dude, those
watching
lights
it,
were- yeah, those-
I forgot it happened when I
They
was
went out
watching the
early.
show.
Those
Early.
lights went out, and dude, none of them skipped a beat. Like they didn't even hesitate
I just
for
thought
a
it was
second.
cool, the shadows and shades, because like I was saying, the the new Power Rangers are out, and I was looking at them the other day with the grandkids, and I'm like, there's something different about those guys. And I always tell
Oh,
me,
the Ninja Turtle movie.
yeah, the Ninja Turtles, and it kind of reminded me just like that. I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess they had people jump up to like spotlights, and they had them, like,
They were trying all kinds of
I
stuff.
know, well, dude. Whoever was on the spotlight was right on it.
They were.
Yeah, they didn't miss a beat either.
No, they did a good
The
job.
best spot of the night was the double catch. Who went over the top rope, and then Sal called
Big
him,
Sal
and then
does the
somebody
spot.
else. Who was the last guy on top?
Mikey.
Mikey
All
was like, yeah.
That was good
I
spot.
love any spots with Big Sal. I love Big Sal spots. Like they always seem to come up with like
He's
a really
all around
creative-
here.
Is he really?
Yeah, dude.
Delco?
Somebody told me he was working out in this Planet Fitness.
Oh, okay. No way.
This was a couple years ago, but then I asked him about it. He's like, yeah.
Oh wow! Shouts out to Big Sal. All right, he's a local legend. That's awesome.
Big Sally Fitness.
Yeah, check your local pizza shop.
I love the "Where's my pizza" chant
Yeah,
too.
Sally ate it.
I love those chants. Mikey hit the whippersnapper on Simon Diamond to eliminate him from the match, and then it was Mikey.
Got a little clunky towards
There
the
was a
end.
hitch.
There was
Why
a,
not a hitch in Simon finish?
Why?
Yeah,
Why
yeah.
in the beginning of the match was each guy saving each other if it's elimination?
That's a good point. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Because I saw it a few times, and I'm like, ECW three-way dance is always elimination.
Usually elimination.
Yeah, so I'm like, what's going on here? Why are they saving each other? And then somebody gets covered and somebody goes out, and I'm like,
well, that's
did
I
I
didn't
miss
even
something?
think about
Did
that.
I miss something? Like,
Nah, I didn't notice it.
Yeah,
That's a good call, though.
That's a great call.
Kayfabe wise, I don't know why you'd be making saves.
dude,
if it's elimination.
the first two covers Whipwreck took on Guido, Simon saved them.
You're right. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, wait a
Instinct.
minute, because that means you ain't winning the match. Your other guys
No,
winning
but
the
it's
No, it's
elimination.
elimination, Hank.
It's always
Wow.
three-way.
It's the first fall of the elimination match. You should just be standing in the
Elimination.
corner.
Yeah, that's
You
what
know?
I'm saying.
Yeah, if it's an elimination match, why wouldn't you be? So,
And the fire was horrible at the end.
Mikey gets.
It could have been wet.
Well,
Sinister
Sal's
Minister.
already got some eye patch.
Yeah, I don't know what he's
Like,
selling.
I know. How much more can it take?
Sinister Minister slides Mikey the flash out. Walk us through when a guy's doing a fireball. What is that little? It's a flash paper thing.
Yeah, it's just imagine a square of toilet paper, just one square, and that's all it is. And you just put a match to it. Like Sabu he would have it in a plastic bag. In his stuff, or Fonzie would give it to him.
Well, 'cause it can't get moist,
yeah,
right?
if you like, your hand's got to be dry, because if you stick that thing in your hand and you try and light it, it ain't gonna work. Now Sabu has been. He was so high. He was so soaming up this one match. He threw it in his own face. He couldn't do it right. I'm in the corner, and he just literally lit his face on fire.
What the
But I think I sold it. Somebody will find that. It's classic
being a worker,
ECW,
ladies and gentlemen.
but it's hard, that flash paper, because at a certain time in the match, if your hands aren't dry, you're beat.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess it's like an old school
And it's
wrestling
like
trick.
you can't throw it either. It's so light. It's like you just gotta push it towards them with your hands. You can't wind up with it.
Yeah, I've seen it executed really, really well, and then I've seen it executed really poorly.
Because guys just try to throw it. They don't practice it.
The worst one I've ever remember seeing was Hogan and Warrior when they had a rematch in WCW at the Halloween Havoc, and they use a flash at the finish with Hogan. It was so botched. It was really, really bad. This one was not one of the best flashes either. It was kind of far away from Sal.
So
but-
was Sal's eye thing covered because did he get fired?
He
from
maybe got fired a week ago or
Well,
something
good job,
like that.
Sal.
Yeah, whatever the fuck it was.
I didn't watch the TV leading up to this pay-per-view, so I'm
Yeah.
not really sure where the storyline was for that. But yeah, he does that, and then you go to the finish of the match itself. What did you guys think of the finish there with? I'm sorry, Guido getting the win in the match. I could trip over my words every once in a while. Coming from you, Hack, that's really funny.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but I do it on purpose.
I like the doing your Bubba impression.
Yeah, I apologize.
That's what it was.
Yeah, that's what I was doing. I was
Damn, I
working
missed
there.
that one.
I mean, I like the thought process behind the finish. Yeah, the fire botched a little bit, but all in all, I mean, dude, those guys, you can't. They're not going to screw up timing.
The only hitch
timing's
was
right.
Simon's finish.
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly what it's. Something in a corner or something like
Yeah,
that.
there was a little hiccup there, and Guido and Mikey, botched a little spot where Mikey jumped off. They kind of Guido kind of caught him, and they like rolled into like the ropes, and then like went somewhere.
I mean, the ref, I forget who was ref in that match, but he was smart enough to at least get over there and do a cover and make it look like something was happening.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Versus them just rolling over and being like, "What do we do?"
Yeah. So it was. I mean, it was fine. I mean, they're great. It's typical work for them. Minus everything else.
Yeah, I thought it was just a decent match. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't long enough to ever get good.
7 minutes 15 seconds.
Yeah, it was a little short. You obviously had the technical difficulties, so I think if I had to give it a star rating, it would probably be like a 2.5, because I don't think it got to the level where it would be a 3.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Even though the work in it would have been like a 3-star match if they got like 10, 12, 15 minutes to get to that level. So solid work, kind of weird finish, and the lighting stuff was interesting, but the crowd was really into it, and you're never going to get a bad match when you have Guido and Mikey involved. Like,
Right.
it's just not possible. I don't think I've ever seen either one in what I would consider to be like a bad wrestling
And
match.
Simon was a really good worker, so
Yeah, it's
even though Simon didn't work with them as much as Mikey and Guido worked with each other.
Mikey and Guido worked all the time
1,000
together,
times,
so it's
yeah.
like that's part of it too, like the size difference between them and everything. Where it's like, Simon being involved in this match was a little weird,
Right, it's a little bit different. Different stylistically.
and I think if I were booking it, I think I would have had Simon win the match at this point instead of Guido.
I agree.
Like Simon would have been the one that I would have put over in this match. So I don't know. What do you give it as a star rating, Ollie?
I would give it a 2. It would jump up to a 3 for me if the lighting situation didn't happen, and that's not really anybody's fault.
Yeah, you kind of can't blame him. I think it was a little too short to be something where you get into that 3-star level. But Hack, where do you go with this match? What do you give it as a star rating?
So when I said 4.5, did you guys think I was screwing with you because it only goes to 3 stars?
No, the star
No, it
rating
goes to
still goes to 5.
And you gave that a 2?
Yeah.
This match?
I gave it a 2. I gave it a 2.5.
What do you give it? It was only 7 minutes, Hack. I mean, it didn't really get going.
Maybe I must be jaded because they're my boys.
No, just give
it's not
whatever
that
star you
I
want.
loved it.
Okay, what did you give it as a
I
star
loved the whole
rating?
thing. 5.
He's
It's on the card. 5.
No, a 5-star match should be
These
like
are my
the greatest
boys.
match
I don't
ever.
know. I'm not saying that. It's just, I don't know. I have so much respect for every set. And you know what? Talking about Simon.
So you've never had a bad match?
No, are you kidding me? Every one of mine's a 5.1.
Well, that's my point. You can have respect for a bunch of people and not say that every
Yeah,
match
I know,
they-
but I
not
can't
every
give
match
him
they-
a lower rating because the match is 7 minutes.
I see. I agree
can't
with
do that.
I agree with that. I don't. It's not about the length for me
Yeah.
because
Length isn't for me either.
I know, but both you guys mentioned it when you
Yes,
gave your ratings.
because I feel like it never got the chance to get going. And whether a match gets going, I do think most matches under that 10-minute level, it's kind of hard for me to put them over like a,
All right, so
3.5
I'll
star.
I'll rate this on straight work rate, and I'll give it a 3.9 out of 5.
Okay,
all right,
That's on straight work rate.
Leading
Don't tell me
into,
no
the,
nothing.
leading into the next match, I have a question for you, Tosh. Then, because Kid Cash and C.W. Anderson, which we're going to talk about right here, was only 5 minutes and 57 seconds. Did you feel like that one got going? Because I did.
Yeah, it kind of did for a 5-minute match because it felt a little bit longer. and
See, so
it did. It got going. It got going.
No,
though.
that big Kid Cash saved that match because the kid's so talented.
He is so good. So let's get to this next match here.
Well, yes, I know, but that was a highlight reel for Cash. That match, not for CW.
Absolutely,
Of course.
So they
And
have,
CW knows that, and those two know each other very well.
Yeah.
And CW can work with anybody on this planet and do a
And
5-star
make
match.
anybody anybody look great.
Yeah, and do the job.
So next up on the show here, this was the Dangerous Alliance. So they have Lou E. Dangerously, signed guy
I
Dudley.
completely forgot about the Dangerous
Dude,
Alliance.
this impression that he's doing of Paul Lee is so spot on.
Great.
It's like I want him to come back now and do a Paul Lee impression to this day.
I had
Like,
to send him a video of it.
Did you? Because he was so
I
good.
sent him like 15 seconds, and his one comeback was, "God, that jacket was horrible."
It was.
because it was so big. It was like
Paul
Andre
Lee
the
was
Giant.
heavy.
I
It
know,
looked
but
heavy as
that's
shit.
like the caricature of it.
Yeah,
It's like,
I thought it was great.
It looked like
was,
what Paul
spot
Lee
on.
would rock. You know what I mean? Like he had the whole look down.
yeah,
looking
he
at-
came out in the main event in the big jacket.
Yeah, like he looks like Paul Lee and he sounds like Paul Lee and he gets the crowd going and he's doing really good heel work
I love
to the
how the
crowd.
crowd's cutting him off. Well, I don't. It's not necessarily the crowd cutting him off. It's more him letting the crowd cut him off. But it's perfect by him to do that.
Oh yeah, he was getting them. He was feeding into it, and you had C.W. Anderson there, and What was his name too? Billy. What was it?
Bill.
Wild Bill?
Yeah.
Yeah. You had him and Elektra. Elektra rocking this. Yeah, man. Oh, man.
Elektra was married to
Rob Black.
Big Dick Dudley.
Oh.
Those two were together.
I had no
Really?
idea.
Well, all right, you can hack check me on that, but I'm like 90% sure of that one.
Let's hack check them on that one. Wow. So they do their whole entrance, and then out comes Jazz. And Jazz, I guess they're doing this gimmick where she's, like a real worker,
Dude,
a
it's
real
such
wrestler.
a shame for her that like she didn't have anybody
business.
to like work
Right.
with, like really like work with as far as like women goes.
Absolutely.
Because, dude, today she would be awesome.
She would be great today. She was an actual worker, and it just was a different business back then. So for her to be in ECW, I know they tried to give her a push and stuff, but it just wasn't going to like really, really work for
Put
her.
her with guys.
Yeah, she could
Sure,
easily.
her and Simon Diamond could do an unbelievable match, and he's the kind of character that could take all her shit and stuff and sleaze over on her at the end. Maybe she could have been our China.
No, I mean they did great booking her, like you said, like with what they had. It's a shame Paul didn't find another female that she could have been with.
When you said China Hack, that's exactly who I was thinking. Because when they utilized her like that, she came out and she's just laying them out and everything, and then as she gets laid out by C.W. Anderson with a spine buster, out comes Kid Cash. And Kid Cash he's got his hair in, I forgot that he had his
like
hair
braids.
in rows or braids. Yeah, it was kind of weird for him from the look that I'm used to him. But man, him and C.W. Anderson have this like, it's just a quick match. It's
Match
how many
really
minutes?
got going.
It did though. It did though. He did it.
Tick tock, tick tock.
He did his splash to the outside, which always looks like $1 million. They hit everything.
Dude, are you talking about the one he jumped off the corner?
Yeah.
To the outside. Did
Yeah.
you notice, dude?
We jumped like 80 feet.
Dude,
I know.
It
He
was
jumped
crazy.
insane.
He jumped over the guardrail onto Bill and C.W. Anderson, and he landed on a fan that's still in his seat. The fan did not budge.
Dude, the fan was
an
the only
inch.
one that caught him on the spot.
The fan no-sold it like a champ, too. He just, like, stood in the seat
he
like Warren.
overshot him.
Yeah.
The kid overshot him, and it's hard. You know what I mean? It's hard in a situation there, being overshot, because your job when you're catching somebody is to keep them in front of you. Once you get on your back heel, if you got to back up, he's just plowing you over.
Yeah.
You gotta have a heel back to catch him, to stop him a little bit. You just want to, just like a quick thwack. So if he's coming over like shoulder first, if he hits you in the shoulder, then you stand there hard enough for him, that means his feet can hit the ground and he's not going to hit you and take a face dive.
Okay.
Did I just hear you make up a word and say thwack?
It's like a
No,
Batman
thwack's
sound.
a word.
It's like a Batman sound.
It's a word. It's
Thwack's
definitely a word.
THWACK.
Hardcore
What are you,
thwack
Donald
over
Duck?
Yeah, I can't believe I just said thwack either.
It was a mix between Donald Duck and Sylvester. What's the succotash? Yeah, thwack.
All right.
Yeah,
somebody-
that's how Sylvester
Yeah,
says hat.
so your job is to put up some force for that guy to hit you with, so he doesn't take a head dive.
I thought it was hilarious because if you watch it, guys, or if you guys go back and watch it at all, he nails this fan and the fan doesn't budge. Like no sells it like a champ,
Like a
just
brick
some
wall.
old dude
Yeah.
like sitting there. It's
Yeah,
hilarious.
it made CW look bad.
yeah.
And also, in the Van Dam match, Van Dam does an unbelievably great catch with Jerry Lynn on a flip and he had his ass in his face.
Okay. We'll get to that in
What
that
a
match.
thwack.
Yeah. What a thwack. Thwack of the night
God,
there.
I'm never gonna hear the end of this cream pie thwack.
So I thought the match was pretty good. They had a nice little slugfest in the match. Anderson missed a charge, and then the Alliance guys came back down. Cash was fighting them off, and then CW super kicked him, and then he went back up, and then Cash took him down with a Rana for the pin. It went about how many minutes did this go? What was
This
the
went
time?
5 minutes 57 seconds.
Yeah, it was a short match.
5-star, 5 minutes. And
Dude,
40
But the whole process between Jazz, them coming out, and Jazz and anything,
And you hit everything on it.
But I'm just saying, like the longevity of that whole segment is more than just the 5-minute match.
And
You know
just
what
a
I'm
side
saying?
note, Does C.W. Anderson have the best spine buster ever?
Yes.
Oh, it's one of them, dude.
Yes.
Well, you know why?
It's the Arn Anderson spine buster.
Because
'Cause he's got the reverse monk
he
haircut?
pushes your shoulders down to get you flat.
Okay.
That's what he does.
Interesting. Yeah, CW.
It just always looks perfect when he does it.
Yeah, it really does. It always looks like $1 million, and I've never seen it not.
But that's the thing, because a lot of guys take it on their ass and their very lower spine.
Yeah, and it doesn't
when
sound as
CW
good.
gets you up, that I think it's his left hand is pushing on your shoulder to get everything to hit at the same
Yeah,
time. Your shoulder, your ass, and his ass.
Yeah, that makes it sound the best.
Just the little things in wrestling, just that push.
Okay. Next up on the show was an interview with RVD and Scotty Anton and Bill Alfonso. You could just tell they were telegraphing the finish with this promo and everything. It just kind of seemed like that to me, at least watching it. It was just not really much. They just kept repeating over and over that he was his best friend. Whenever you hear somebody's best friend in wrestling, it's usually a sign of a turn. So I was like, I remember this now. Next up on the show was a three-way dance between the Baldies, Chris Chetty and Nova, and Danny Doring and Roadkill.
Chris Chetty, another guy I forgot about. That was awesome.
Yeah, ECW House of Hardcore
They're
graduate.
filled with them.
Yeah, I mean,
Right. Chetty could do every single thing that Cash could do.
yeah,
Every single thing.
And he was bigger.
But,
he was a
yeah,
little
taller,
bigger.
definitely.
Yeah.
But
Well,
you know
he was
that
bigger, heavier at that point. He
Well,
wasn't
yeah,
always
yeah,
that.
yeah,
like,
he used to be
when he first started,
slimmer,
yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, Chetty was that as nimble as Cash was.
I was so impressed in this match, and
He's got amateur wrestler.
this was
yeah, he took you down.
we already heard about
I
that.
remember that. Can't open that door now.
Can't open that door. I was so impressed in this match with Roadkill, man. Watching Roadkill, I'm like, man, this guy could do spots. He could work. He was credible. He had size. I am really shocked that he didn't do anything like major in the business after ECW went under, because this is a guy that seemed tailor-made to like a WWE run to me.
Dude, even in like Japan, he would be a good Japan
Yes.
dude too, with like the Amish character.
Absolutely.
In Japan.
Oh my God! And he would kick the crap out of you. That one spot, maybe, however you got there, if it was from a tag or whatever, you're just sitting there on your ass, and he would come up and kick you in the back and take your breath away.
Trust me, I know. I've mentioned it multiple times. As a young child, I got stiffed out the
Every
fucking
single-
wazoo by
yeah.
him.
Oh,
fucking
man,
with him in the
dude
ring
was
before the match.
stiff.
I had to keep away from
And
him.
with that big gut and stuff, it was just, what a great character.
Fantastic character.
What a-
Yeah.
Great. And he knew it, and
Yeah.
he knew his place, and he knew his character.
Yeah, and I loved him and Danny as a
And he could
tag
hang
team.
with anybody.
I know, because they're polar opposites.
Exactly.
It's the pretty boy and the Amish dude.
I know, Danny's outfit's just hilarious.
They pop me
You
every
know what I
time.
mean? With the blue and the red and the headband or whatever the
Yeah.
heck he was wearing. That's just good shit. But I'll tell you, the best part about this match to me was that, one, Vic, you can't hurt that dude. you just can't hurt him. I think I've went over that before. And then, but the match got everybody over.
Yep.
It just got everybody over to me. Everybody that had their high spot,
Had their
whatever.
shine,
you know
yep.
what I mean? Everybody got over the match.
Dude, and the Baldies-
And that's great
I
job.
like the
Dude,
Baldies.
the Baldies are great. Like they know where to be.
Tony's.
They know what their moves are. They know how to take everything. Like they're just awesome.
Couple of goons, you know.
But-
I always liked them.
But two of the nicest dudes you will ever meet, literally.
I know, it's crazy. Tony is so nice.
Dude, Tony used to take care of me in the back. Like, me and Tony were cool. We were tight. Like, he would always, like, watch after me. Angel, I didn't know as much.
I didn't either.
But, yeah, Tony, me and him were always cool. He'd always look after me. He'd always be messing with me in the back. Like, but I know Angel's, like, a super nice dude as well. So they played off the Baldy characters, like, super well, you know, off of that aspect. But the match was great. Timing, awesome.
Impeccable. I mean, how many minutes?
Oh, this was short. I think it was like 6-7 minutes.
6 minutes, 30 seconds.
there was an
7 minutes,
elimination in there,
and
too.
there was what, 200 spots in the match?
Yeah, I mean,
200 things in 7 minutes.
it's a lot.
Break that down.
Dude, which just goes to show, like with
It's 50 things a minute.
with these
Or
AEW
less.
pay-per-views and like these
Less is more.
Yeah, a
dude.
lot of these matches don't need to be as long as they were. Like the Trent Beretta Orange Cassidy match could have easily been a C.W. Anderson Kid Cash match,
5,
but
6.
instead it was 13 minutes.
Right.
If
And
you're
that keeps your pay-per-views from being 4 hours and it makes the match card flow so much better instead of every match dragging on. When is this going to end?
To your point too, Ollie, on that, ECW did this
Agreed.
thing with this like kind of car crash booking that was kind of like Heyman's like forte as a booker, where everything flowed into the next match.
It was
You
like
had the
controlled
run-ins.
chaos.
Yeah, but it's like when you keep things shorter, everything flows a lot better because you're not just sitting around waiting and
Right.
waiting and waiting and
You
overdoing
have to
it.
wrap
And then
have 4 20-minute matches in a row.
And then you're seeing,
just can't
and then you're
do
seeing
it.
the same spots regurgitated over and over again in the same 2-hour span.
Yeah.
Dude, your timing make it when you make everything mean something, that you don't have to go 20 minutes, 25. When everything means something,
Thank you,
short,
Billy Gunn.
sweet, timing, everything. Get to the point, tell the story, boom, it's over. That's all you need.
Yeah.
And it makes all those matches like the RVD and the Jerry Lynn match that much more important and that much more impeccable because they're your main event matches later in the card that go 25
Yeah, and they
minutes.
have everybody's attention for that much more because you didn't just sit through 2 more hours of
Right.
wrestling watching spot after spot for 15 minutes a pop.
Yeah. So Angel hit Danny Doring with a guitar. When he used the guitar, I was like, oh, New
Dude,
Jack's
the
coming
guitar
out.
breaking, it's such a good thing to
I love
use
it.
because
yeah, but not when you're using it again.
Yeah. Okay.
Well,
true.
this one, the one that Angel
I
used was
agree
like
with
a
that.
ukulele
Yeah.
size
Yeah.
one.
Or a
So
violin
then,
or something.
Yeah,
New Jack brings out the big boy.
After Angel got the pin on Danny Doring, Roadkill put Grimes on the table on the ringside, and he put him through with a splash, which was just such an awesome spot.
dude, Roadkill's
his
lucky he didn't
balance-
hit his head on the guardrail.
Yeah.
That's what I
I'm
thought.
surprised he moved him so close to the guardrail. I would have had him like closer to the ring a little bit and just more fell on him than dove off the rope.
It looked like $1 million though.
I did look great.
I love when Roadkill would get up on the second rope and like just lean up and like do that, and he was
Yeah,
leaning over,
like he was David Koresh or something like
Yeah.
that. You know what I mean? Like an Amish, like come join my cult kind of dude.
He
Yes.
used to always do that, like get up on the second rope, do that, and even before the table spot, heck, like you said, you can't hurt Vic. I don't know. Vic had
Oh,
to
the hip
call
toss
this. The hip toss off the bat
Do you see how close he was to
to the stairs. Yeah,
He was
might
like 6 inches away from that stair.
Vic, you're
Yeah.
400 pounds. Just say no to the hip toss.
No, that's his thing. Remember,
He was a big bumper.
back in the day, Cactus, every single match, no matter what the floor was made of, did
Elbow.
that running elbow off the apron and hit somebody.
Yeah, but that's not doing a flip at 400 pounds.
Vic Grimes had the same mentality though. He was a huge bumper.
and he didn't. You couldn't hurt the dude. The dude got thrown 40 feet off, went through a couple tables. I just watched it. Bounced off the rope, flies up like 10 feet in the air, lands on the outside or whatever. You can't hurt that dude. And thank God he was with me in Japan to save my ass one night.
Yeah. So afterwards, after the match, I'm sorry, for the finish, Chetty came back in, did a little comeback, and then him and Nova did a double splash on DeVito.
Yeah, which looked weird.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Yeah, I don't like that. I did. What do they call it?
It was the title wave.
title
Joey.
wave.
that's right.
Title
Well,
wave.
yeah, it looks
It's a splash and a leg drop at the
Right.
same time.
Yeah.
Oh, well, then they completely missed the leg drop.
Yeah, it wasn't the best, but very short match, a lot of spots. Kind of hard to give a star rating for me. I think I would probably go about like 2 stars on this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And afterwards,
2.5, 3. Yeah.
afterwards,
4.1.
the hack
I'll go
scale.
2.5. I would go 2.5, 3 as well.
I love the hack scale already. I'm glad we're doing stars now.
Hey, these are my boys.
Yeah, always
And
put it with your boys.
dude, right here on Cage Match, it has New Jack and Grimes in a singles match.
Well, because so it's just a weird thing that happened was like, so the
Well, that's what happened when New Jack got his head crushed.
was that
That
the
was in a
spot?
singles match.
Was this the spot where he got hurt?
No,
Yeah.
no.
No, that was a
no,
living
that-
dangerously when
Yes.
when
Okay.
he got hurt.
I didn't think so.
All
So
right, good call, Ollie.
So the Baldies were roughing everybody up, and then out comes New Jack, and New Jack, the crowd's going nuts for him. They absolutely want him. He's doing his shtick with the
You
weapons
see
in
how
the
he's
ring.
feeling it?
He's so feeling in the crowd.
I mean, he's like electric inside right here.
When he's
dude.
walking
yeah,
through the
that,
crowd.
yeah, that and a little bit of booger sugar.
I mean, but he's on his toes, just
Yeah.
like that, Jack. I'm getting juiced up just fucking thinking about his entrance right there.
Yeah, it's like look again. I always say this: steal ECW if you can online somewhere, and don't watch on
Seriously.
Peacock. because you got to hear it with the Natural Born Killers, because the music they put up on Peacock is just awful. Whatever they have playing for the New Jack stuff just sucks. But New Jack's feeling it, man. He's taking him through the crowd, and then when he lays him on a table and he sees the balcony.
It wasn't even Vic. So maybe Vic got hurt the one time that he could actually possibly get hurt. But
well, he's already down and already went through a table, so I guess it's like, all right, Tony, let's go.
Yeah, Tony probably wanted to be in that spot. It's pay-per-view. Tony's like, put me on the table.
Yeah, they go through the crowd. He sets him up on the table, jumps off the balcony. It's great. Brings him in.
Yeah, that was it. It was a really fun New Jack thing. I can't even consider this a match. I'm not going to give it a star rating. It wasn't a match to me.
4.2.
No, it's just a great moment. It's always a good moment with New Jack.
Yeah, just a great moment. Up next on the show was Yoshihiro Tajiri and Steve Corino. This was awesome. I loved this match a lot. I thought watching this, I'm like, man, I wish that Steve Corino came along
earlier.
Well, either 10 or 15 years earlier or 10 or 15 years later.
No, it would have been better in the 70s. He was perfect for the 70s and 80s.
The bleeding and everything, just the style.
Absolutely. That's why him and Dusty got along so well.
And he could talk, and like the bleach blonde hair with everything.
Yeah, he was like your Barry Windham of the 80s, you know what I mean? Guys like that. There was plenty of Bobby Duncombe's Senior. He was that kind of dude.
I also think he would thrive in today's day and age.
He teaches all these people, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. He's down in NXT. He's a coach. He's a trainer and a producer, whatever.
Oh, Steve, I'm begging you. Tell him to do less spots. Jesus.
That
was a Steve Corino wow. He was always known for his... Because if he hears like a little thing just to start shit in the locker room, we'll be like, wow, did you hear that? So everybody's like, what's going on?
Thank you for explaining the origin of the Steve Corino wow to the audience, because that always pops.
He was famous for
whatever you say is Steve Corino wow. I always mark out for that. So he's doing some mic work before the match, and then out comes Tajiri, and they just get going. Tajiri is beating him with these kicks, and then he busts him open real early with a, I think it was it the brainbuster on the ramp that busted him open?
Yeah, but Corino gigged himself way too much.
He loved gigging himself because his hair lended perfectly to it.
The blonde hair, blonde hair with blood is like the best wrestling combo.
Well, he got himself a little bit too deep, and I know Steve used to love the gig as much as I used to love the gig when I started in the business. And then he would always do the Flair and Dusty. They wouldn't gig like in the center of the head. Lawler would gig in the center of his head. But Flair, Dusty with the blonde hair, they'd always gig over one eye. So then they get the crimson mask. You got the one side of your face red and the one side of your face white. But Steve hit this one too hard, so that was lost immediately. You see the puddle that he left on the canvas?
It looks like he did it like up here on
the hairline.
top. Yeah, like the hairline.
Right, because he's thinking as a dad is older. You know what I'm saying?
Well, no, and it's the spot that he took.
I love the fact. So he puts him in the tree of woe, and he's doing this, and it's perfect for the blood too, because
you see the puddle.
You see the puddle. And he hits him with it, and then the cut is really going.
And blood gets on the camera.
The blood gets on the camera.
Yeah, the hair whips.
Cyrus mentions it. Cyrus mentions it that there's blood on the camera, and like if you didn't even notice, like because it's awesome to see, and that was just a really cool spot. These guys are doing this.
Honestly, I was like, oh God, Steve, jeez. Honestly, when I was watching that, because I know what that's like bleeding that much.
Oh, it's got to take a lot out of you, doesn't it?
How hard is it hard to like wrestle when you're bleeding like that? Like that, I'm saying as far as like wiping it off.
Your eyes.
Like what? And I know you don't want to keep wiping it on your
shirt. So I always had a shirt. You know what I mean? So I get rid of it. It was a problem.
But it stings your eyes and everything. The blood getting in there, doesn't it?
I don't know.
Guy says chair shots don't hurt, so I don't think that's stinging his eyes.
I'm talking about getting. Oh no, does it hurt when you get blood?
I did not say chair shots don't hurt. I say they'll rattle your freaking bones down to your toes. But that's nothing compared to a Masato Tanaki getting thrown over the top rope by Mike Awesome onto his shoulders.
It depends on the thwack.
So out comes Jack Victory. Any fun Jack Victory stories?
What a great dude.
You got any fun Jack Victory stories?
Well, here I'll tell you one good one. The night I think I was jumping rope naked in the ring in Pensacola.
Yep.
I was loaded. And we got to the back, and we're in this like little bathroom, and Jack was pissed at me, so I knew I screwed up out there, but I didn't remember what I did out there. So after the match, we go back, and it's maybe the bathroom's like 5 feet by like 10 feet, and there's like 10 of us in it, and Jack wanted to kill me. But I done some crazy stuff. I used the girl's hairbrush to comb my pubic hairs. And
that's a bad behavior from you.
Who was that? Was that Jet?
It was
the
Dawn
girl
Marie.
we were just talking
Dawn
about.
Marie.
It was Dawn Marie's
I think it was
hairbrush.
Dawn or Electra.
Oh yeah, I was naked, all in the bag, naked in the ring, jumping rope, just me and Fonzie. You know where we were at? Ty was with us. It was me, Fonzie.
Don't rub me, Lori.
Yeah. Why are you switching up Ty?
Kelly.
Ty was involved.
He's like 9 years old, maybe, or 10 years old. We were at Tom Landry's bar doing vodka oyster shooters before the show. And that's where it started. Well, I was shit-faced by the time I even got to the show.
So fuck Tom Landry. It's all his fault. I hate
No,
Tom
I'm
Landry.
never putting heat on Tom. No, he was a man back in the day.
Shout out to the oyster shooters.
Yeah, shout out to the oyster shooters.
Thank God my other dad was there to take care of me that night.
Fonzie. Back to the match here, because this match really, really was fun. So they're doing spots on the ramp. Hack, what was it like when you're working a show that had a ramp versus a regular entranceway? Was that something like for your
I
mind?
didn't care because I wasn't going down it.
I always loved the
Okay.
runway look.
Somewhere else.
I love runway looks.
Yep.
I think it gives it a different feel to the show, and I love when they do spots on the ramp. Like, it's just something additional to do.
Well, Vince is a lot more runway than AEW is.
AEW used to do a lot of ramps.
I know, but
Yeah.
it seems like they're pushing their people to the closer side of the building, so the ramps are only like maybe 20 feet long and are on a steeper angle.
Yeah, I always like when they have the elevated ramp. Like, and a lot of Japanese shows would do them sometimes in the big dome shows.
Yeah,
and
of course.
WCW shows and ECW shows. So I always like the ramp look, and I enjoyed this show having a ramp as well. So they were doing some spots on the outside. Tajiri really just an awesome worker. I really always loved his work. The kicks, he just really seemed to like throw everything in super tight. Did you ever have a chance to work with Tajiri, Hack?
No, but I didn't like them.
You didn't care for him?
And there's only one reason why I didn't like them was because back in the day, right here, like people weren't walking around with computers and phones in their pockets, so you actually had to use a payphone. So Tajiri's on a payphone, and I'm out on like the concourse of a building. So I hear Tajiri, and I'm this close, you know what I mean? And I hear Tajiri speaking basically perfect English to whoever he's talking to on the phone. But when you were in a match with him, he would sit there. He would sit there and listen until he would go, well, maybe this, if he wanted to do something besides what he was never the guy putting it together. He was just, hey, I'm doing this here, I'm doing this here. And then when you would go to say something else, and it's not a particular, and I can't say a particular moment, but he would act like he couldn't speak. He pulled a Sammy Sosa in front of the government. He wanted to be like, oh, no, understand. No, and I'm like, wait a minute, dude. And then, so I told everybody in the whole locker room was that.
You stooged him off?
Of course I did. Of course I
I
did.
always loved Tajiri, man. Tajiri's
No,
work.
because that's bullshit. You just don't do that stuff.
Yeah,
Right.
when you're working with other people,
Right,
yeah.
right.
Yeah, it's not all of a sudden, no, you don't understand because you don't want to lose the match.
Right.
You know?
Right. Yeah. Do
Not
business.
saying it was that.
No. I know what you're saying. These two guys had some really good work. I thought Carino really doing some cool stuff with some of the suplexes he threw. Tajiri had him in an octopus, which looked really awesome, and then he did the missed spot with Victory, which was great. I love the missed spot there. And then it moved through with Carino power slamming him for a near fall. Tajiri then just hit him with a number of kicks, and then he did a great double stomp through the table for the finish. This match was really, really strong. I think it was just under, if I would give it a star rating, just slightly under a 4-star. I would go probably like 3 3/4. It was close to a 4-star for me.
I
don't
go
know.
3.5.
3.5?
Yeah, 3.5.
Three
I
and a
didn't-
half?
I didn't love the finish considering everything else that they had done, just a double stomp through the table.
thought it should have been a little more of a
little
higher
bit
high
more,
spot.
considering what they had done, earlier in the match.
I
but-
like that spot for Tajiri, but like Ty's saying, I don't like it as a finish.
There should have been another.
Yeah, something
Something.
else considering all the stuff that they had done. It was just a little anticlimactic. for me,
I
that's all.
got flat down here for the
Flat?
finish.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and the other thing I just wanted to put Carino over for was his punches. That dude has such an. His punch is as good as mine.
That's it's so no.
It is.
You're laughing. That's in my notes. I want to talk about your punches later because I swear to God, I put in my notes your punches. I
They're
swear.
straight and to the point.
Yeah. No, seriously.
Yeah, but Carino, man, he threw it. But I don't do the foot stomp like he does. There's a thing when if I throw a punch.
You do the toe. You do the heel.
Yeah, so I'm not going like this, picking my whole foot up. I just raise my heel, and as I hit you in the head, I put my heel down on the mat. It's because I didn't like this looks stupid
stomp.
to me. That
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
And you get more of like your shoulder and torso.
Oh yeah, I'm upper body twisting it. Yeah. And it doesn't matter because you're not making any sound, especially when you're outside the ring most of the time doing it.
Right. No, I really enjoyed this match, though. I thought it was really good work. Afterwards, out came Kanemaru, and he attacked Tajiri, but out making the save was the American Dream, if you will. Dusty Rhodes came out.
Jumped.
Place got unglued.
I loved watching it again. Because I didn't know what was happening.
I really love that Dusty had this little run with ECW in the year 2000. He really worked with Carino, which obviously put Carino on the map. And he kind of gave ECW a real good feel. I know he was not in WCW at this time. He was close to Paulie, so Paulie brought him in. And what was it like when Dusty came to ECW?
Yeah, I was just going to ask you, how did that come about? Even Dusty coming in.
Him and Paulie were boys from WCW days.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sure, and then Kevin was probably in that mix, so you know what I mean, from back in the day. But no, it's like having like Terry Funk in your locker room. You know what I mean? You're in the locker room with a freaking legend.
I love Dusty. Like Dusty's like absolute wrestling god, and just to be involved with ECW at this time, it's just interesting to me. Like it's a cool little wow, I can't believe that actually happened. And you got to work with all these different guys and everything that, you know, he wasn't really working at this point, but he was able to do enough to get over and stuff. So out comes Dusty, and then he gets beaten down by Rhino, and then out comes the Sandman. So we have the ECW World TV title match, and this was like a really, really awesome match hack here. So you guys are doing this feud with Rhino. You come back to ECW, and when you came back to ECW, was this like the plan from day one that you were going to be matched up with Rhino?
No, it was my plan. The 2 weeks before I came back, he lost to Mike Awesome the 1 week. He lost to Sabu the next week. I go to work with him in Louisiana. Dreamer says, "You're working with this kid. And whatever you want to do to finish, you're over." I said, "No, I'm going to put him over. Tell me I got an idea." He goes, "Okay." And then that night is the night I gave him the spear. I gave him his finish, spearing me through the table.
So what was it? Did you just
first night I met him? I gave him that finish.
Did you just see something in Rhino that you saw business in him?
Oh, yeah.
How could you not? Right?
He's perfect.
Like
I was so proud. I'm like, I'm working with this young kid.
I loved his look. His hair was always wet. He looked like just a menacing dude.
I know. Imagine if he was like Hack's height.
Dude, if he would have been world champion.
God. Are you kidding me?
He would have been world champion.
Holy shit.
No,
He would have been in WWE.
Oh, he'd have been 350 Rock.
Well, he had a really nice WWE run and everything, and he was a really, really good
I know,
worker.
but he would have been then.
You know what I mean? I got to say, Hack... coming into this match here, what was it like in this match when you're working Rhino and this building's already seen everything they've seen? What's going into your mind when you're putting together this match?
Man, it's the idea. It's an idea match. It's not like a spot fest. I mean, a lot of the stuff we did is like, yeah, I put up a table here. You know, we'll get to it later, maybe, or something like that. You know what I mean? So it's really an idea thing right here. But I'm not unfamiliar at all to how many nights did I work with Sabu or Dreamer or Raven at the main event all the time.
Yeah,
and so I'm not worried about that. I know that I can get over by myself with doing nothing.
Yeah,
literally nothing.
So you guys are just brawling from the get go, and we were
so easy.
We were talking about your punches. I was talking about your punches. You're hitting Rhino with these punches on the outside, and I'm just like watching this match, and I'm like, man, these punches you're throwing, you're throwing some really, really good punches. It's something nobody ever gives you credit for in the business.
You losers.
I always loved your punches, man. I think you'd really throw
I was just
good.
giving you credit for it.
I know, but that's the thing.
I had it in my
How many
notes,
people's punches are abs? Who has a great punch in the business right now?
Sell your hand after you punch somebody.
You punch somebody in the head, your hand hurts.
You were always selling your hand after you punch somebody.
Makes sense.
It makes sense. So you guys brawl around the ring, and then you get the table involved. Ryan will cut you off, and then it gets propped up on the ramp there. And like when you're putting this together with Rhino and everything, I know you always say this when you're watching wrestling, and Ty, this is something you say too all the time, is when you're watching spots where guys set it up and a guy moves out of the way, they always move out of the way like way too early. You move out of the way like the last second before Rhino jumps to hit you for the
this
table.
close, baby.
It's gotta be this close to make it work.
Gotta be that close.
Yeah.
Because I'm in control of everything. I got my right toe on the floor. So, I mean, I know I could be out of the way in the very absolute last split second.
Yeah, no, it was perfect time. Perfect
Great
timing.
spot.
Great spot. Rhino goes, crashes through the table. And then it gets... Man, this gets wild here at this point. So...
Good shit.
it really was. So out comes...
Wow.
Out comes Carino again, and...
Wait, how many times were they out?
2 or 3 at this point. I can't keep track. And out comes your guy's mom. Lori comes out. And, man, Steve grabs her. And then this is just absolute heat here. Absolute.
She was great. The way she tried to, like, fight him off. She's not just, like, walking with him. You know what I mean?
No.
She's on her heels, like, skidding her feet and stuff like that.
So
she died perfectly at the right times.
So when you guys, Ty and Ollie, I got to ask you, when you guys are watching this, when you were watching this back years later, and you see your mom take a bump like this, like what the heck are you like? It's one thing when it's him, you know what I mean? But when it's your mom, who's like not, you know, she's obviously in the business and everything, but not like a trained worker or anything. Ollie, what did you think when you were watching that?
It's another day at the office.
I was just going to say the same. I didn't know his reaction because he wasn't really a part. He didn't really get to see a lot of the stuff that I
I
saw.
know, but he's asking him in retrospect.
I mean, like watching it, like yeah, the spot looks great, and she looks like she got killed, but she was taken care of. Like,
Yeah.
she's taken care of. Like Rhino takes the whole bump through the table,
Yep.
make sure she's fine. So it's just another thing to me.
I make sure the next spot that I pick her up high enough so Rhino's underneath me and he hits my whole stomach, doesn't touch her at all.
Yeah, so we get to the finish here. I mean, it's a quick match between you two guys.
Short and sweet.
Short and sweet. So you do hit a couple pile drivers in this match, what I want to talk about. You hit some nice pile drivers, heck. And also, what the heck were your shoes in this match? I'm used to you rocking like...
I didn't even notice.
Dude, he's got like some clogs on or something.
something like
what
that.
was black boots? They were
was
black
weird.
boots.
Yeah, it was like a mid-cut kind of
Yeah.
boot or something like
Yeah,
that.
it had
was
like grommet, or the laces were like a sneaker. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
It was them in those Jenko jeans. You had an interesting look in this
No,
match.
the best pants of the night were worn by Kid Cash.
Oh, yeah, those were
I
awesome.
could have held a good 12 pack in those pants. He had so many pockets
Is
on
that the way you bought pants? How many beers would fit in them?
Well, the one parachute pants, yes, that was the whole reason why I got them.
Okay. So you guys get to the finish here. And this was a really cool spot. Rhino was about to spear her through a table. You cut him off, and then you're picking her up at this point, and you take the spear. She doesn't. Rhino covers you for the 3 count. I thought it was a really like quick match. It's almost like an angle, but I enjoyed this for what it was. I would give this about 3 stars.
Yeah.
Yep, 3 for me. On a 6 minute, 15 seconds.
Yeah,
it was good.
Yeah, it was really good. Hack.
I mean, you got everything in. You got the table spots in. You got the run in. Everything.
Okay.
Yeah, short and sweet. I mean,
And everything was tight. Just everything was tight. There's not a hiccup in that whole situation.
Okay. Next up on the show was RVD and Jerry Lynn. Man, what can you say about this match? This was not one of their greatest matches. You know, I think it was a really, really strong work, but some of the booking decisions in this like kind of held it from being like a great match. I don't know what you guys thought about this one.
a lot of just the combination spots that they have, you know, the duck to kick, the jump over this, you know, fake that, fake. I mean, the timing just perfect, like they always typically did. Not their best work, but I mean, a little bit too much of Fonzie throwing him the chair, and you know, a little bit clunky in that aspect, a little bit too much of that. So it like didn't mean as much when he, you know, did each one, but good match overall.
Good match overall, but kind of held down by the booking, in my opinion. Like the turn and everything with Scotty Anton. And I know they made a big deal of this being his return to the ring for RVD, but also the fact that Jerry Lynn had never beaten him. So to me, in my head, if you want to put Jerry over,
you do it clean.
You do it clean. You have him beat him clean instead of the interference. And
it's not like it hurts Rob because those two are feuding, and he's never beat him. So
first match back, yeah.
Right.
I mean,
that's the perfect time to do it.
Right.
Is have Jerry beat him clean right there.
You put Jerry over there clean. Instead, you do the thing with Scotty. And
dude, that bump RVD took onto the dude.
So he like split legged on the ramp there.
Yeah, that was.
It looks like he took like one knee on the ramp and the other leg
the other leg
tried
took
to
out
catch, he tried to catch himself, but he ended up just bouncing off
the other
ring.
leg. Took out the cameraman.
Stiff. That was because the one guy was laying there. Hopefully, that dude broke some of RVD's fall.
I know,
Because
especially
it had to be stiff. It was a real tight section. There was nothing to break his fall except that floor and that cameraman.
Yeah.
And he hit his leg on the thing. But the best sell of the match was when Jerry pulls Rob out and pulls his head to the outside of the ring on the second rope. He hits him with the leg drop. Van Dam does that face bump into the apron, and his toes stay straight up in the air for like 10 seconds.
Great. Classic RVD there. I also really love the bulldog through the table that Jerry hit him with. That
was horrible.
Why?
I think it looked horrible, and I think a bulldog's a horrible spot to do through a table.
Jerry's not a table guy. That's all there is to it.
Okay, you guys didn't like it.
I like the idea of it.
You don't see a bulldog through a table, is why I kind of liked it. I wasn't expecting it.
It wasn't them, which
the only way to make a bulldog look good going through a table is not be a pussy about it and lay flat and belly flop it. That's the only thing you got, because Jerry kind of goes to the side and takes it with a knee, and it's like
it was like
weird.
just incredible.
Yeah, it's like
they're not table guys.
Yeah.
They're just not.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like to me, it's like if you're taking that bump, just commit to it.
Oh, wait a minute. Another thing I wanted to talk about. Did you guys see how easily I was handling tables out there by the ring?
You look like an experienced
You threw it right in with no
compared
problem.
to what guys do now, it's like they go over here to this side.
they're scared to touch it.
I know. It's like, dude, pick the fucking thing up and go.
Okay.
I mean, but I handle those things like nothing.
Yeah. No, you're great with the tables, man. Some people aren't. I also thought in this match, Joey, again, stooged off the turn because when he mentioned, like, Scotty got knocked down at one point, and he was like, oh, that's it for him in this match. And then it's like...
when Jerry did the flip off the apron onto him.
Yeah. I thought he telegraphed the finish again with that, but...
yeah, that's funny. I don't even hear that stuff.
Yeah, you said that last week.
Joey's going like, oh my God, I'm hearing that. You know what I mean? But something like that. Do you guys?
I didn't catch that one in particular.
I didn't catch that one either.
Okay.
I did.
All right.
But I really try and pay attention to the commentating just because I love Joey.
Yeah. They did some stuff with then at that point with Lynn hit him with a cradle pile driver. I do like how RVD kicked out after the turn. That was definitely unexpected. I kind of thought that would be the finish right there, but then they did another one on a chair, although it was not on the chair. It looked like it missed the chair.
Yeah, his ass got the chair.
His ass got the chair, but did not look like it actually hit him for it. They went close to like 20 minutes here.
1954.
They definitely had better matches, these two.
Yeah,
100%.
Like this was not bad or anything. I think I would give it like 3.5 stars.
Yeah.
I don't think it was bad at all, but I've watched them have way better matches without as wonky interference and stuff like that, turns. So that's the only reason I would go a little bit lower.
Yeah, and to your point in the beginning, I would have did Jerry clean and found another way to get into Rob and Scotty.
Yes. You could do that
after the match.
Yeah.
Right. You could do that in some other direction. So.
Also the corkscrew leg drop with Van Dam on Jerry in the beginning. That's a great spot. The one from the apron.
Yeah.
Up next was the main event of the show. It was the ECW World Title match between Justin Credible and Lance Storm. As we went over before the show, this was just Lance's last match with the company in ECW. He's in WCW in a couple weeks after this, and Tommy was not involved in the match. They were doing a little weird thing before where Heyman was running down and begging him not to get in the ring, and then Tommy put over Storm. And then it was just a match between Justin Credible and Lance Storm. I was actually kind of surprised to see Lance Storm blade.
That's my first note.
I was
So was I. I was too.
I'm like, what?
I don't know if I've ever seen Lance Blade before take color. It might be one of the only times I've ever seen it.
Definitely not under his own volition. I've never seen it.
It makes sense for the match circumstance.
Yes, but I've never seen Lance Blade, and he was always like, Lance was not a hardcore guy. He'd be the first one to tell you. You know, he's a worker.
Yeah.
And that was kind of interesting. I mean, I know you're doing the match with Justin.
Unbelievably great worker.
Oh, yeah. Fantastic. But, I can't even remember him bleeding ever.
And he looked great there, too. He was jacked.
He was. You could tell he was going for his big run in WCW. You know, he was really huge. The crowd was chanting for a lot of different things. We want Dreamer and stuff. I don't know where you guys thought of this match. You had a lot of wonky stuff with Dawn Marie and Franny.
How is that wonky?
No, I'm saying the match itself. They had a great cat fight. The cat fight was awesome.
You've literally said like 4 out of 5 like wonky. Well, you're using wonky today. Is that because you've just seen these guys work so many times before and have better matches?
I would say so, maybe. Yeah, I don't think it was the best match I've seen these guys have either. Well, I don't know if I've ever seen these two work.
Well, agreed, but you have to take under time constraints of the situation and all that. You know what I mean?
Anybody? I've just seen them in better stuff before. That's all.
I know, but every match.
I thought it was a good match. I thought the best spot was the reverse, like hip toss over the rope onto the table, because they set the table up out on the ramp, and I'm like,
what are you doing? What's going on?
Yeah, what spot are you going for here? And then they got me with it and surprised me with it, and it was great.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah, because
I wasn't expecting that either.
Well, because they set it up out there, and I had forgot about it, and then they do the spot, and I'm like, that was nice.
That's the thing. Ty knows. Well, he's shaking his head. He's like, leave it there. We'll get back to it later. People forget about it.
100%.
They then did a lot of the cat fight happened, and then Justin.
There was all kinds of problems with that cat fight because I travel with Franny a lot. In fact, I'm traveling with Francine unless like what are we like tomorrow, 14 hours from now.
You sure it's the right date?
Yeah.
Yes, she's texted me like 4 times today.
What, they had heat?
Oh yeah, Francine and Dawn had big heat because Francine was hurt one time and Dawn took advantage of her in the ring while she was hurt. You know how cat fight go. The 2 girls, they touch, they hit. The one girl does a little bit of this on top.
One rolls on top, and they roll, and then...
Yeah, but Franny was... She's told me the story. In fact, she's told me not pretty recently. I think the last time we drove to New York together. But yeah, there was heat between those 2.
Okay, I never knew that.
Big heat. Like big heat where Francine went to Paul and said, I will never work with her again.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn.
That big.
Damn. Did not know that. That's interesting. Justin hit a Dawn Marie with a pile driver. And then Storm hit Justin with a pile driver for 2. And then he tried another one, but Justin reversed for a That's Incredible for 2. Justin then did that swinging DDT for a near fall. The crowd wasn't really that into it, and then Justin kind of hit him with another That's Incredible for the pin. This one went about 15 minutes or so. It just kind of seemed a little flat with the ending there. I don't know.
Yeah, the finish was just like anticlimactic. It was
pretty much.
We all have it.
It was kind of just like, oh, that's the finish.
But it didn't matter because...
The post-match.
Boom.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it was all about the post-match there because Tommy comes out. And so just so you guys know, too, Franny turned on Tommy when Justin dropped the belt, or when he dropped the belt to Justin. So this was like Tommy's revenge here. And it was building up to the future match between Tommy and Justin. Franny's doing a great job of begging off.
Oh, her pantomime
so good.
So she'll be like down to a knee for a second, but then she'll get back up. She could have just stood and stayed on 2 knees and like prayed to him. You know what I'm saying? But she was animated.
Yep.
She was all up in it. She did a great job.
She really, really did. Her sell on that was so awesome and Tommy's was too because you almost
think her outfit though. Can please somebody?
I didn't like it.
I know.
What?
I took a picture of it to keep it tomorrow for the airport when I see her. I'm gonna be like, what the hell is your buttress there? You look like she looks like a cocktail waitress in Vegas.
I liked it. She looked hot.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I hated that tail thing.
Okay, well,
I'll tell her tomorrow morning and check back with us next week and we'll get her response.
Okay.
She'll be like, you're an idiot.
I liked Tommy for 1 second. It looks like he's about to forgive her.
Oh, God.
But you know he wasn't gonna.
Yeah,
It's
I know,
ECW.
but if you listen to the crowd, I played it back. If you listen to the crowd when it happened, they were disappointed. And then when he scooped it, they went, boom!
Gets her up for the Spicoli driver.
But he knew enough to let it last for that extra couple seconds to make him really think it's in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Great timing on time.
It was. It was perfectly timed.
He sucked him right in. Boom.
Hits her with the Spicoli driver, does his pose, and then the show is over. I don't know what you guys thought overall. I mean, it was a fun show for me to watch. Definitely not like the best ECW show, Ty. I don't know what you thought.
No, I thought it was, above average. I thought it was a very good, pay-per-view. The main event and the ending, I guess the storytelling with Dreamer at the end was good. But, all in all, I thought going through each match, I thought everybody pretty much hit what they were supposed to do. So,
okay.
Yeah, I would agree with the same. I thought everybody did good. I didn't think any match was over on time, like we've been talking about. Everything was short, sweet. Everybody got their stuff in, so it was a good show.
Okay.
All right, now me. How much longer? How many more shows do we have after this?
Pay-per-views?
Yeah.
I want to say less than 5.
Okay, so the writing's on the wall, right? So you have to judge this, I think, in Paulie's booking, because I don't know if Paul even knows that we have 5 months left at this point.
Well, you have longer than 5 months, but I'm saying 5 shows, pay-per-view shows.
Or, I don't. Well, we didn't. Did we have a pay-per-view a month?
No.
Okay, so you said 5 months, and now you're saying we had.
he said 5 pay-per-views.
January 2001 is when you went out of business. This was in May of 2000.
What was our last pay-per-view then?
Guilty as charged,
Guilty as
2001.
charged, 2001.
All right, so maybe it's a little bit early for me to come up with that conclusion, but I kind of get, Tosh, I got to put you over a little bit for your booking, but I don't even know. Was Dreamer booking some of this? Was
I think he
Paulie
was.
booking some of this?
I think a lot of it
I'm
was
not even
Dreamer
sure.
booked at this point.
Yeah, I'm not even sure.
Okay.
I don't know. They're my boys. I love them.
No, I had a fun time watching the show.
Girls, guys, I love them all.
Yeah,
they're all family.
5.1 out of 5.
Yeah, listeners definitely.
No, I'm the only one that gets a 5.1.
Definitely make sure you guys watch this show as always. Give us your thoughts on it as well. We want to hear what you guys think because, look, we're going to be honest with you. If we think a show was great, we're going to tell you it was great. If we think it was okay, we're going to tell you we think it was okay. Up next here is our listener question segment. As always, send them into sandmanpod@gmail.com. We're just going to run through a real quick couple ones here this week. We do have a lot in our inbox. We will get to them all as we move along over the weeks. I do apologize that we can't get to them all on this one. Up first here is Mike from Chicago.
Mike, what up?
What
the Windy
up?
City. How's your teams doing?
Yeah, Mike asks, question for Hack, who is the smelliest wrestler you have ever
Balls
come across?
Mahoney.
I knew that was coming.
Yeah, we all knew that answer.
Just straight stank? Just he smells? Yeah, okay.
I don't know. I just gave you my answer, so
Okay.
it's prevalent.
Okay.
Yeah, from under chicken.
From Under Chicken. Up
It
next,
smells obviously your most remembered what the things.
Sense?
Yeah.
yeah. Up next, Davik Kafol. I can't read this guy's name. He's from Armenia.
Adabek.
Davos from Yerevan, Armenia.
Greek sounds Davos.
He's from Armenia, though.
right.
Hey, Sandman and pals, huge fan of the show. While watching AEW Double or Nothing, I noticed something that grinded my gears. In the finish of the Jericho three-way, the ref counted the pin while Shibata was inside the trash can. How did the ref count the pin if you can't see the shoulders on the mat? Anyone with me on that? Is there any other ref things that grind your
Dude,
gears?
I saw that live too, and I thought that to myself, and I'm like, am I just overthinking that? Like,
Same with me.
but I'm
same thing?
like,
It's wrestling.
I was watching it, and I was like, well, his shoulders aren't on the mat.
Randy
but
Orton's
then I'm
shoulder
like-
wasn't on the mat either.
Yeah,
But
no,
no,
it wasn't.
I caught that too, and I thought it, but I'm like, I'm probably overthinking it.
I don't think he's being nitpicky, really, because, like, you see all the time now, especially in AEW, where, like, you lose credibility on the refs constantly.
Well, somebody else got pinned on a table too, and his I saw the same thing, and I don't know.
It's
You're just
wrestling.
yeah, right.
Hey, but dude, we're sorry for getting your name wrong. Could you send it back to us like some other way? We apologize for getting your name wrong. Tosh is off tonight. He's obviously been off all night. Every match is wonky. Everything's a 1.9 rating.
I'm giving my honest opinion. Yo, spell your name out phonetically for us. We'll try to get it right
There
next
you
week.
go, phonetically.
I do
That was the
apologize.
word
I know. I was
looking
gonna say
for.
grammatically, and I'm like, that's not
No,
right.
damn, I was looking for phonetically.
No, I do apologize, man. I'll get your name right next week.
Well, you got
I'm gonna-
one thing right tonight phonetically.
All right, here we go. Up next here is Blake from Kansas City. Oh, God. Hack, thanks for answering my question last week, even though Tosh picked the Jalen Rager of WCW draftees when he offered up Mike Sanders to be his pick to go to ECW. I was worried about getting the Cane of the Week for busting on the Eagles, but wow, that was a Cane of the Month worthy bad answer. Okay, let me tell you something, Blake.
Get him.
You're writing into my show, our show.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's writing into you ever about anything, Blake. So get that straight.
Blake,
Now, Blake, you're a nobody, dude. Okay? I'll tell you that right now.
Don't bury Blake. I love you. I'm telling you, he's had an off night right now. I don't know what is happening.
Yeah,
Dude,
well-
could you go get a hooker or something
I
next
don't
week,
need that,
please,
man. I
to
don't need-
relieve
I'm-
some of this tension?
I'm doing great.
It's all right.
All right,
Half for the
here's-
Kansas City Chiefs is going to be in the Slammer come the
Yeah.
season opener.
Yeah, screw you, Blake. All right, hold on.
At least Jalen Rager's gonna be playing.
I'm going to ask his question because I'm a nice, fair person. Hack doesn't strike me as a guy to be starstruck when meeting another wrestler or celebrity. But who has he come the closest to making him feel that way? Curious to hear Oliver and Ty's answers on who they've met in the business that made him feel
My very
starstruck
first
as well.
independent show, I got out of the car and Bruno Sammartino was standing, was getting out of his car at the same exact time. So that was my biggest starstruck ever.
Okay.
I don't care who else I've ever met in my whole life.
How about you, Ollie and Ty?
I don't know about like starstruck, just because like we spent all of our time around like wrestlers or whatever. But when we went to WrestleMania in Detroit, Hack actually introduced me to Jeff Hardy, and he was like my favorite wrestler at the time. And he actually gave me his armbands that like he would wear to the ring. So
Oh, no shit. That's awesome, man. That's
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah, I
That
think-
brings a tear to my eye, you loser.
I wasn't necessarily starstruck, but when I met Randy Orton and Cena, those two were both like
What, the day you beat Cena over the back?
that was me.
That was Oliver.
That was
Oh,
me.
that was Oliver,
Beating
sorry.
Cena with
in
the
Madison
cane and
Square
catering.
Garden or whatever. But but like meeting those two, you're like those two.
All
like
right, but how about
those are
this
like,
one? How about like Madison Square Garden night with who was the boxer and the rapper that we met?
Oh,
Evander
Evander
Holyfield
Holyfield.
and Little Bow
Dude,
Wow, and that
dude,
was, yeah.
with a little bit of me, and like Holyfield, because you got to understand something. That's one of the baddest men on the planet. You know what I mean? This was 2008 or 2007 or whatever. He might have been past his prime, but you still got to respect him for
He's
that.
a world champ.
For being
100%.
more,
his ear
younger
bit
people
off.
don't get it. It's like, to me now, the next from 2000 and on, you're more of an MMA guy champion than a boxing champion because boxing has been so down. You know what I mean? But in the 1970s, 80s, 90s, all the way from Frazier, Ali, all the way up to Tyson at his best. You know what I mean? You were the baddest man on the planet then, and it really meant something.
Yeah,
that
So
was
to
cool,
me, that meant something to me because I was past the point of starstruck, but to me it was really cool. Like as cool as being in the same room as the Dalai Lama is cool.
Okay, I love it. Up next here is Bob from Broomall. Hack, any good stories on things that may have happened to you on your way to the ring while making your way through the crowd?
No, I mean, well,
Nothing
no.
crazy, a chick
No.
flashing you her tits,
Yeah.
or somebody fucking.
I'm actually surprised that's never happened.
Yeah,
No, because I'm
Because
a
you were a
baby
pretty
face.
decent looking dude back
yeah,
in the day.
motorboat or
Okay, wait a minute.
like-
Hold on here. Everybody right now, I want to hear your number. Basically, pretty good looking dude, no.
I
dude.
said a pretty
I was
decent
a
looking
ship it down. On a 1 to 5, I was a 5.125. Exactly.
I like on your one night stand entrance when you're in the balcony when you first come on, the guy's grabbing a cane and smacking his own head with it, and you like rip it from him.
Well,
Yeah, but that to me is not so like it's not. That's not crazy to me. Nothing like super crazy.
Yeah, it wasn't
ever
crazy.
happened.
It was just something funny.
okay. No, that's interesting. Up next here is Owen from Plateville, Wisconsin.
All right, Plateville.
What's
what
up?
do you got going on there? How many sheep you done this week?
What's up, guys? Love the show. Keep it up. Hack, what was your opinion of Steve Carino in ECW? And do you think
Wow,
do you think a
Steve.
gimmick like his could work in today's wrestling?
Yeah,
we
we
just-
talked
yeah,
about
We
this.
literally,
Steve,
I guess we answered this question
Yeah, we
earlier.
answered
Steve
questions
was
in the
just
show.
great. He could, yeah, yeah. Steve was just great. He was great on the. He was the whole package.
Literally.
The whole package.
He was the whole package. Up next here is Kevin from Dayton, Ohio. Kevin writes in,
Kevin.
Hack, I've recently been watching the Joey Merlino podcast in Philadelphia. Did you guys have any interactions with the Philadelphia Mafia scene or Joey Merlino being in South Philadelphia?
No, but didn't one of his pizza places just burn down in
He just bought a
Philadelphia?
cheesesteak place.
And
It's
it
on.
burnt down in the first week.
Yeah, apparently. I don't know.
Tell
Hey,
me
man.
the worst.
It's on
night-
Broad Street.
Yeah,
it
yeah.
shoots in on that one.
Yeah, we're just we
Are
don't.
you serious?
We gotta be
I didn't know
respectful.
he just bought it.
We want to be respectful to the people out there. And I'm not going to be disrespectful to Joey, but I didn't know if Kevin wanted to know if you had any interactions.
Yeah,
ever.
at the strip club. Probably we hung out in the room together at Delilah's.
Okay. All right. Next week, guys, we got a great show for you. This has been our most requested show by the fan base. ECW One Night Stand 2005.
Hell yeah.
One of the most legendary pay-per-views in wrestling history. We will be breaking it all down next week, and we will be talking to you then. Like, share, review, follow us on YouTube, subscribe to everything, and we do have the merch coming out as well. I just want to make sure we're mentioning that.
Merch.
We will talk to you next week, but before we do, Hack, the cane of the week and the toast of the week.
Dude, all you're getting, because I'm so upset with the recent news that I've heard in the last couple hours, they're only getting a cane of the week, and it's the whole jury in New York that convicted one of my best friends on
God.
the planet,
Get out of here, dude.
Donald Trump.
Stop
Screw
it.
all you.
Oh, God.
Peace,
Stop
I'm
it.
out.
All right, boys. Join us next week. Later.
Ain't it foggy outside?